We have primetime football here in Philadelphia as the Washington football team visits coming off their bye week. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Cory Puffett. We kick off Week 10 in the NFL with this Thursday night NFC East showdown. Washington was off last week but went 4-4 in the first half of the season, with 2 of those wins coming against the New York Giants in Taylor Heinicke's only 2 games without an interception this season. Philadelphia, meanwhile, is coming off a loss to San Francisco in which Carson Wentz threw for a meager 157 yards with no touchdowns. The team rushed for less than 100 yards, and the defense struggled to put pressure on the quarterback. Terry McLaurin has 12 touchdowns in 8 games this season, on pace to break Randy Moss's single-season record by 1 touchdown. He's sure to be called on often in this game. Through the Week 9 bye, Washington ranks in the bottom half of the league in offense and defense, while Philadelphia ranks in the top 16 in both categories. We'll take a look at the division standings entering this week. Philadelphia's loss last week bumped them back into a tie with Dallas for the division lead. Another loss today would bring Washington up into a tie with them and could create a 3-way tie if Dallas loses to Tampa Bay on Sunday. Philadelphia won the toss and sent Carson Wentz out to get things started. He's under 2,000 yards in 9 games and is on pace to throw more interceptions than he did when he led the league in 2020. Philly wasted no time letting Wentz air it out. Travis Fulgham ran a nice route under the safety, and Wentz found him for 20 yards. Already, he's got an 1/8 of his passing total from last week. You see on the replay, Landon Collins just a bit slow reacting to the sharp cut outside by Fulgham. Miles Sanders wasn't a huge part of the Eagles' offense last week, but Washington had a tough time with him early in this one, giving up a pair of 7-yard gains here, and Philly already has 34 yards on their first 3 plays. On the next play, Washington has much of the field covered, and Wentz checks down to Greg Ward. Moreau meets him there, and the ball's out. So the defense thought the play was dead, but nobody else is nearby, and Danny Trevathan dives on it for Washington. Coach Rivera loves the play, but we're going to get a review. Let's see what we have here. Yep, that's pretty definitive. Ward down before the ball came free, so Philly got the ball back. Washington forced a 3rd and 5, but they're not ready for this screen pass to Sanders. He goes for 10 and a first down. Sanders continued his big drive on the next play, picking up 9 thanks to a nice spin move back to the inside. They picked up that first down, and then a few plays later on 3rd and 2 from the 8, he'll pick up another 5 yards. First and goal from the 3, Wentz back, rolls out of the pocket, and throws on the run. Jalen Reagor lunging back to his right, pulls it in for 6. He and Landon Collins exchange a few words, and that was a terrific opening drive for the Eagles, taking up almost half of the first quarter. Get another look at the athletic throw, and a nice catch by Reagor for 6. After nearly having their offense on for their first chance earlier, Washington was led out here by Taylor Heinicke. He leads the NFL in interceptions with 13 through 8 games, but he's been playing better lately and hopes to get revenge for the 5 picks he threw against this Eagles team in Week 1. Facing 2nd and 10, Heinicke finds Logan Thomas over the middle for an 11-yard gain, met there by Davion Taylor. 2 plays later, 2nd and 8, soft coverage, and McLaurin has an easy catch for 14 and another first down. Philly didn't give Gibson much room to work on the ground in this game, but there was one of his better runs. Good vision on the cutback to pick up 6. 2 more runs by Gibson move the chains, and from just inside the 40, there's plenty of space outside for Antonio Brown on the bubble screen. Quick read by Heinicke on the RPO, and McLaurin with a nice block downfield on Darius Slay. Washington's moving the ball well. Next play, there's McLaurin, and he'll show his strength carrying 3-4 defenders down inside the 5. That set up 1st and goal at the 4, where Gibson takes it, follows his block, and after bouncing off Kevon Wallace, he's got a free run to the end zone. It's a great drive by the football team to respond to the opening score by Philadelphia. Get one more look at that run. Now, last week we mentioned Dustin Hopkins as one of 2 kickers in the league without a miss on more than 30 kicks. Well, That ended here as he sent this extra point just left of the upright, leading Philly out in front 7-6. So Philly's back on, and Carson Wentz is going back to Rager on the quick throw. The second-year pro at TCO has 11 yards there. Sanders had his way on the ground last drive, but here Washington gets him behind the line. That all happened pretty fast, so we'll check a couple other angles on that play. Two plays later, 3rd and 10, Wentz is looking for it all to Rager, but Darby's right with him stride for stride, and that one's overthrown by about 4 or 5 yards, bringing up 4th down and the end of the first quarter.
With the score, Eagles 7, Washington 6.
After the punt, Antonio Gibson leads his guys onto the field. Bit of a slow start in the yards for Cory, but he did reach the end zone on the last drive. Washington started this drive red hot. Gibson spun out of a tackle here to pick up 7 yards on 1st down. Then, going 5 wide, Heineke gets this one out to Logan Thomas for 11. Gibson bounces this outside and picked up 9. It's a wonder how he finished the game with just 3.2 yards per carry. The drive was derailed because on 2nd and 1, give to Matt Vernon, he's got the 1st down, but you see the penalty indicator up top. That's on Peyton Barber in at fullback. He's called for holding, working against Derek Barnett. 2 plays later on 3rd and 10, nowhere to throw this, and Heineke barely gets out of the sack to avoid lost yardage. It's a nice play by Brandon Graham, playing in his 12th season out of Michigan. Washington forced a 3 and out though, and on the first play of their next drive, there's Antonio Gibson ripping off 27 yards on the angle route. Sets Washington up in field goal range. Big play for Washington. We get another look at him cutting back under Wallace and avoiding the diving attempt to bring him down. 2 plays later, Heineke looking for Logan Thomas, and he's got him underneath. Braylon Arnold is unable to bring him down. He'll take this for 19 yards down inside the 15. 2 plays later, 2nd and 11, looking back to Thomas underneath. He'll turn upfield and push beyond the marker for 12, and we get another look as Heineke catches the rookie corner, Clarence Hitchens, number 41, with his back turned following McLaurin into the end zone. Thomas took advantage. Set up 1st and goal at the 2. Toss to Gibson. Nice block by Matt Filer back from the elbow injury he suffered in Week 6 against the Giants, and Gibson walks in for his 2nd touchdown of the day. Nice group celebration there, and that puts Washington on top late in the 2nd quarter. Hopkins did make the extra point to make it a 6-point lead for Washington. Philadelphia released Zach Ertz this week, so Goddard is getting all the run at tight end. Takes this for 7 yards on 1st down. Then on 3rd and 3, Miles Sanders navigates the trenches for 6 yards. 1st and 10, Sanders gets another carry, and he runs right through Fabian Moreau. He'll move the chains again. 2 plays later, 2nd and 11, the defense has Sanders covered. Dallas Goedert's called for a block in the back. Washington took the yards, and they force a 3rd and 19 coming out of the 2-minute warning. Here, Danny Trevathan held Sanders to just a short 4-yard gain, and Washington called a timeout, preparing for the punt. First play of the ensuing drive, simple slant route to McLaurin. He hauls this in for 10. Philly forced a 3rd and 10 here. Heineke looked for Logan Thomas on the corner, but Thomas isn't looking for the ball, and Darius Slay has positioning to go up and pick it off. That will set Philadelphia up in Washington territory with more than a minute to go, and we get into the look. Don't know what Logan Thomas was doing there. Miles Sanders comes back out. He's having a nice first half. Great numbers there, but Philly probably won't be running much here. On 1st down, Wentz underneath to Ward. And there's another flag on the field. The officials got the left tackle Jordan Mailata for holding. After a 6-yard gain on 1st down, Wentz throws this right to Cole Holcomb, with the linebacker slow reacting, just bounces off his helmet. So it's 3rd and 12. Wentz forced to check it down to Greg Ward, but he jukes out Kendall Fuller and easily slips from Shaquem Griffin's grasp. He's down the sideline to about the 20-yard line. You'll see better on the reverse angle, sidesteps, and then Griffin can't secure him short of the 1st down marker. On 1st down, Wentz is looking for a familiar target That's Jalen Reagor, has it down inside the 10-yard line, and Philly took their first timeout. First and goal there, Wentz. He'll escape the pocket. Danny Trevathan meets him a couple yards shy of the goal line, but Wentz with a little stiff arm, and the former Eagle Ronald Darby ends up tackling him into the end zone. We'll get another look at Wentz's effort down near the goal line. Cairo Santos hit the PAT, and the Eagles now lead 14-13 inside of 40 seconds to go in the half. So Heineke comes back out. He's played quite well this half, but the interception on the last drive was a costly one. We'll see what they decide to do here with so little time left. They'll go to the air. Logan Thomas makes the catch over the middle for 20 yards to the Eagles logo. Philly trying to line up quickly, but nobody's over top of McLaurin, and Heineke sees it. Great pass to the receiver. Loses his balance a bit down the sideline, but that is a 32-yard gain, and it is worth a second look. Just a great pass, catching the Eagles out of position on the hurry-up. Would have liked some more yards, but at least he got out of bounds and stopped the clock. First and 10 at the 23. Washington dials up the screen, but Heineke sees Thomas wide open running downfield. Chucked this one over his head, and Grayland Arnold has it on the run. Heineke, a nice effort to catch him at midfield with just 3 seconds left, but that erases an opportunity for Washington to retake the lead, even if only with a field goal. We'll get another look at the interception here. And he just didn't set his feet. His body was oriented to throw the screen pass. In those situations, you just got to go with what you called. Can't throw it off balance like that. The Eagles lined up, and Wentz took a deep shot to the end zone. Nobody came down with this one, and we go to halftime in a 1-point game. Heineke's 2 interceptions and Hawkins' missed extra point, the only reason Washington isn't leading their division rival. Get a quick look at the halftime stats on your screen, and for today's halftime report, we look ahead to the coming week. As I mentioned in the pregame, Dallas visits Tampa Bay on Sunday, and a loss to the Tom Brady-led Bucs will lead to big implications from the outcome of our game. Later in the afternoon on Sunday, the Bears and the 49ers will duel. Chicago had 5 sacks last week against Minnesota, and Khalil Mack is second individually in that category, so San Francisco's offensive line will have their hands full protecting Jimmy Garoppolo. Week 10 will conclude on Monday night in Green Bay. The Packers have needed a lot of fourth-quarter comebacks to win lately, and the Browns hope to end that run. Setting up for the second half, here's another look at the game's opening touchdown from Wentz to Reagor. As Washington retakes the field for the second half, Terry McLaurin's last reception took him over the 1,000-yard mark for the season, and he's on pace for more than 120 receptions. On 2nd and 9, Heineke pulls from Gibson at the last moment and hits McLaurin for his 65th catch of the year on the RPO. Next play, right back to McLaurin. And we'll check the flag. Fletcher Cox, the guilty party there. Washington keeps things going with another RPO. This one a screen to Antonio Brown, and that move almost took Avonte Maddox out of his shoes. 3 plays later, it's 3rd and 3 from the 17. Heineke running out of time, but Logan Thomas has some separation and shoves Rodney McLeod to the turf as he forces his way into the end zone. That was a terrific drive to open the half and take the lead back. Get another look here. Last moment getting that out of his hands. And a strong stiff arm by Thomas to get into the end zone. Washington lined up to go for it here. And it looks like McLaurin's got it. We'll take another look at it. And did that second foot come down in bounds? Can't tell for sure, but there's no challenge, and it's a 7-point Washington lead. First play of the half for Philly's offense now, and Wentz has Goddard coming across the middle. He's got some room to run before he's cut off. Hard hit by Collins, but that's a 19-yard pickup. 2 plays later, 2nd and 2, and man, that's a nasty sidestep by Sanders to avoid Collins. Takes this for 16 yards all the way down near the 30. The juke wasn't on the replay, so we won't show that. 1st and 10, Kendall Fuller does everything he can defensively here, but Travis Fulgham somehow snags it for 8. After picking up the first down, it's 2nd and 10 at the 17. Wentz is back. Rager comes free on the post for his second touchdown catch of the day, and this track meet continues. Hill celebrating the end zone, and his teammates are getting silly on the sidelines. We'll give you one more look at the touchdown catch. An update on Taylor Heinicke's stats as he comes back out after leading his guys on the opening touchdown drive of the half. He's over 10 yards per attempt today, easily his best game of the year minus the 2 picks. We'll skip a few plays in, including 3 carries, 4 yards by Gibson, and the screen is covered. Heinicke probably wise just to accept the sack by Brandon Graham, who almost had him for a sack earlier. Here's a replay, and on the second angle, you'll see why Heinicke didn't try to get it to Gibson. Number 24, Darius Slay, was there, and Heinicke not trying to give him his second interception of the game. On 3rd and 21, none of the deeper routes open up, and Heinicke just checks this down to Gibson for 8 yards. And Jalen Rager leads his guys out after recording his second touchdown of the day. On first down, Wentz is back, but he quickly decides to tuck and run. Fabian Moreau is heading out to meet him, but Wentz makes him miss and has 14 yards. After running for 7 on first down, Wentz manages to pull that down and give to Sanders. That's a big hole for him to run through. 2 plays later, play action on 2nd and 10. Dallas Goedert coming right to left is all alone with nobody guarding the outside. We'll get another look at what Wentz saw on the 19-yard pass play. Time running out in the corner. Wentz gets the snap off. Good coverage. He's got a hole to run through, and it's another 14-yard gain inside the 20. It's a chance to take the lead when play resumes in the 4th quarter. Starting the 4th, another first down, and again, Wentz is using his legs, scrambling, pushing forward off Jonathan Allen, picks up 12, now accounting for 40 yards on the ground by himself on this drive. 1st and goal from the 5. He's going to try and run again, but this time Cole Holcomb's in position to sack him for a 5-yard loss. 2nd and goal. More good coverage, and Wentz is running again. This time he finds the angle through his offensive line to pick up 6 before sliding down. 3rd and goal. This time, as he tries to escape, there's no angle for him, and Deron Payne gets him behind the line. Another look at the escape, and then the slow run by Carson Wentz. The first field goal attempt of the game for either side is sent through the uprights by Cairo Santos. It's 24-21, but Ross Pierschbacher suffered a broken finger that kept him out the rest of the game. 2nd down and 10 for Washington, and they're going screen to Gibson. Good coverage and not enough blocking. It's Kamu Grugier-Hill making the ankle tackle. Sets up 3rd and 9, and that is in good internal clock from Heinicke. Knows when the pressure's coming and finds McLaurin downfield for a 25-yard pickup to midfield. Take a second look at the play. From there, Heinicke with a bit of a risky pass, maybe, but it finds Harmon for 11 yards. And then Logan Thomas will have this for 10 near the first down marker. Gibson picked up that first down, and then from the 26-yard line, back to Logan Thomas on the go route. Great job reading the defense by Heinicke. Gibson hasn't had much room to maneuver since Washington's second drive of the game. Here he slipped a tackle in the backfield, but can only push forward for a yard. On 2nd down, there's a breakdown in protection, and Heinicke is hit. Lucky this one found the turf. Sets up 3rd and goal. Logan Thomas is by himself, but it's a high throw. Looks like he got the double tap, though. Calling it a touchdown on the field. Take a couple more looks at it. Hard to tell there. The second angle looks like one toe might not have touched down, but call stood. Hopkins made it 28-24. Here comes Carson Wentz. It's been a bit of a back and forth battle. He's done well throwing the ball and running with it so far. On 2nd and 9, he's back to throw, but he runs out of time thanks to a strong drive by Montez Sweat, pushing Jordan Mailata back into his quarterback for the sack. And we'll take another look at the push Sweat got into the backfield for his 8th sack of the season. 3rd and long now, and he might not have gotten the yardage anyway, but that's an unforced error by Philly. Sanders lost 3 on the play to force a punt. Washington worked on running down the clock and actually got some decent room to work for Gibson, like this 7-yard gain on the drive's opening play, and this 12-yard run a couple plays later. After 2 runs by Gibson and a timeout by Philly, we're inside 2 minutes. It's 3rd and 5. The screen is covered, but this time Gibson is able to outmaneuver the defender and pick up 14 yards as Philly takes their 2nd timeout. 2 more runs by Gibson and Philly's final timeout later. Washington takes the play clock down, snaps, and Heineke to McLaurin with perfect timing between 5 defenders in the end zone. His 3rd touchdown pass of the half, and it's McLaurin's 13th reception in the end zone of the season. It's now a 10-point game with a minute to play. Right into the next drive we go. Wentz has all day, even as the pocket collapses, and Travis Fulgham comes open, crossing to the left sideline for 24 yards. You see the pressure Wentz is starting to feel, but he delivers a perfect pass. Next play, Wentz waits, throws for Goddard to the outside, and Jimmy Moreland overcommitted. Goddard has the first down. Philly hurries to the line. The snap, Wentz looking, throwing, and Fabian Moreau has it. And he's got room. Montez Sweat is downfield blocking, and that gives Moreau the angle to take this all the way back. The nail in the coffin. It was unlikely the Eagles would erase a 10-point deficit so late anyway, but that is a great play to seal the deal. Dustin Hopkins did make this PAT, but we're showing it because up top, you'll see the injury indicator for Jerron Christian Sr. We learned after the game that it was a dislocated hip. He'll miss the next 7 weeks. Fabian Moreau getting some love from the rest of his defense. Philadelphia ran 2 more plays, but they were meaningless, and Washington enjoyed their biggest margin of victory this season. A disappointing loss, to say the least, for Philly, who was looking for the season sweep, and the 2 teams are now tied at 5-4. Taylor Heineke was incredible today, completing 27 of 35 attempts for 364 yards and 3 touchdowns to make up for his 2 first-half interceptions, and the defense came up big in the 4th quarter, which hasn't been kind to them this season. They'd given up 96 fourth-quarter points entering this game, including at least 1 fourth-quarter touchdown in every game until today. Philadelphia will prepare to host the Denver Broncos next Sunday, while Washington will certainly make good use of their few extra days as they get set to travel to Dallas for their first meeting of the season against the Cowboys. Looking back at the best of Week 9, the Defensive Players of the Week got their recognition by getting after opposing quarterbacks. Khalil Mack and J.J. Watt each recorded multiple sacks, though only Max Bears wound up winning their game. On the offensive side, Nick Mullins continued his impressive season in New Orleans, recording 3 touchdowns, including 1 on the ground, while Ryan Tannehill attempted 47 passes and completed 30 of them for an even 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. There were only a handful of games that got media attention this weekend following our Thursday night matchup. The Vikings are missing Dalvin Cook. He suffered a ruptured disc last week and is going to be out for a while. His teammates couldn't pick up the slack, and despite being sacked 5 times, twice by Shelby Harris, Joe Burrow lit up the Vikings defense for 357 yards through the air and another 39 on the ground. They needed overtime, but the Bengals pulled it out at home 27-21. The Titans and Jets combined for 28 total points in the 4th quarter of their Week 10 matchup in Nashville. Tannehill and Darnold both tossed 2 touchdowns and a pick, and Darnold actually had 11 more passing yards than the Titans quarterback, but Tannehill was more efficient. Derrick Henry carried 19 times for 91 yards and a touchdown, one of the few times he's been somewhat heavily featured in their offense this year. For his part, Jamison Crowder gave his Jets a lift with 154 yards and 2 scores on 12 catches, but the Titans pulled out a squeaker by a score of 31-28. The Bears traveled west to face the 49ers this week. David Montgomery paced the offense with 68 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. It was good he stepped up because Trubisky was not good. 132 passing yards, a touchdown, and a pick, and he only completed 50% of his passes. That was enough though, as the Bears didn't allow Jimmy Garoppolo to get into much of a rhythm either. Khalil Mack recorded 3.5 sacks, and Akeem Hicks accounted for the other 2.5, holding the 49ers to just 10 points in their home stadium. The Chiefs hosted the Steelers on Sunday night. It was a lopsided game in every way except the final score. Kansas City nearly doubled Pittsburgh's offensive yardage total, they tripled Pittsburgh's first downs, and they possessed the ball for a full 2/3 of the game. But Pittsburgh kept it close and ultimately lost 21-17. Patrick Mahomes had only one touchdown, but he threw for 356 yards, and Darwin Thompson scored twice on the ground despite totaling just 18 yards on 9 carries. The Packers outscored the Browns 12-0 in the second half at Lambeau Field on Monday night, but it wasn't enough to complete the comeback, and Cleveland overcame a 0-touchdown, 2-interception performance by Baker Mayfield through the air to win 21-19. Mayfield did score once on the ground, as did Nick Chubb and Ernest Johnson, and the Browns picked off Aaron Rodgers twice. It's Rodgers' 4th straight multi-interception game, and he's now tied for the second most in the NFL with 11 of them. This has been 2021 NFL action on EA Sports Madden 21. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and a comment below, and be sure to subscribe for more content. I'm Cory Puffett. Thank you so much for watching. Come back next time for Washington's Week 11 visit to Jerry World to face the Dallas Cowboys.